A very important part of your internship experience is supervision, and getting the most out of meeting with your supervisor is an essential skill. So in this session, we're going to describe what the essential elements are of effective supervision and how that applies to your placement, explain the significance and elements of effective feedback in the supervision process, and identify ways to incorporate constructive feedback into your internship practice. So let's talk about what is supervision. Supervision is an interpersonal relationship between two people, you and your supervisor, in order to develop skills, understanding, and competence in your work, and also to protect the best interests of the client. So the main functions of supervision are education and your professional development, getting support, and also just general management of you within the agency. And supervision is going to be an integral part of your professional growth and development, not just in your internship, but throughout your career. So having a good supervisor and knowing how to use your supervisory meetings are really important. So what are the things that effective supervision will help you with? First of all, it'll help you to better understand clients and their contexts. Your supervisor will have a lot of information about this from her or his years of working at the agency. It'll help you to better understand your own reactions to clients and the dynamics of working with clients. You'll be able to learn about the agency, the regulatory environment, the community, societal context with which the agency operates. You'll be able to practice ethical decision-making processes within your supervision. And just have greater skills, resources, and a repertoire of interventions to use, more quality skills, so you'll be more effective in working with clients. And using supervision effectively will also help you to prevent burnout and foster resiliency in the profession. So how can you be an effective supervisee? How can you get the most out of being supervised? So first of all, you want to be clear about what you want, both from the internship and from supervision. And you can put these things in the learning contract that you develop. So you developed one during the first week. You can always make changes in addition to that. And you will be revising it during the first week of the second quarter of your internship. You need to take responsibility for your own learning, be proactive, be available, ask questions, bring issues, bring data to the meetings. You need to come up with what you want to talk about in the meeting, what you need from the meetings with your supervisor. You will be discussing personal impact of the work with your supervisor, but remember that getting supervision is not like getting therapy. Your supervisor will kind of point out sometimes when he or she thinks the work is impacting you because of some personal issues, but she's not going to do therapy with you. She may refer you to therapy, but you need to be aware of when your personal issues are involved in the work setting. That is one thing that supervision can do, help you cultivate self-awareness and a more realistic picture of yourself and your own skills. And you want to be open to feedback, support, and instruction, and be non-defensive in listening to the feedback of your supervisor. To be a successful supervisee and a successful intern requires you to exhibit the same professional skills as an employee. Being reliable, punctual, productive, proactive, being on time, dressing professionally, communicating effectively both written and orally, being mature, being a problem solver, and not being afraid to ask for help. You're not there because you know everything. You're there because you're learning, and that's what being an intern is all about. So you need to ask questions and ask for help. So let's talk a little bit about feedback. Your supervisor is going to be giving you feedback. And effective feedback is something that will help you to grow as a profession, to gain more knowledge and skills. So effective feedback is specific. What did the supervisor like specifically? Why did they like it? It focuses on your behavior and actions, not on your personality or your looks or anything like that. It's what is the impact of your behavior on the situation. Effective feedback is balanced. It focuses on both strengths and areas for improvement, and it looks for solutions. Effective feedback is sincere and honest, but also gentle and respectful. And when someone gives feedback effectively, they choose the appropriate time and location. They wouldn't necessarily give you feedback in front of a client, but maybe after the meeting with the client. And effective feedback also checks for understanding. So if you remember learning about reflective listening in active listening skills and counseling skills, so an effective supervisor checks that you've understood their feedback by asking you to reflect it back. So you, as the supervisee receiving feedback, here are some things you should keep in mind when you're receiving feedback. Try not to become defensive. Listen with openness. Practice those active listening skills. Consider that your supervisor is giving you a gift by giving you this feedback, a gift that's going to help you to grow and improve. You want to focus on the specific suggestions you are receiving. Separate facts from opinions. You don't have to listen to everything and do everything that is suggested, but you need to be clear about which things are optional and which things are mandatory. And form an action plan to improve if there are some suggestions for improvement. Ask questions when the feedback is not clear to you, or if you don't really understand it, or if you need more information to use the feedback well. So at your internship, it is expected that you will meet regularly with your supervisor. Once a week is a good amount of time, especially at the beginning of your internship. And if you can have regularly scheduled meetings as opposed to ad hoc meetings, that is preferable. When you know you're going to have a meeting planned for that meeting ahead of time, this is an opportunity for you to test out ideas and apply what you've learned in the classroom. So you might talk to your supervisor about things that you've learned that you would like to try out at the agency with clients. It's an opportunity to ask questions about the agency, things like the history of the agency or different ways things operate, an opportunity for you to address challenges both with clients and colleagues. And you should use that time to ask a lot of questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You should really prepare with a list of things you want to talk about when you go into your supervision meeting. Come away with an action plan, with next steps, with new ideas, with areas where you want to improve. And in your supervisory meetings at the end of each quarter, you'll be doing a formal evaluation process with your supervisor, where you will complete an evaluation of yourself and your internship, and your supervisor will complete an evaluation of you, and then you'll talk about it together. So during this quarterly evaluation, for your self-evaluation, you'll be looking at your progress towards the learning goals you made in your learning contract, what you feel your strengths are, what areas you would like to improve, and then you'll come up with an improvement plan for next quarter. Your supervisor will be evaluating you, looking at how you progress from observing people working with clients to being supervised working with clients to independently working with clients. Or if you're an administrative intern, they'll be looking at how you progress in taking over those administrative tasks. They'll be looking at your ethical practice, your communication skills, your cultural competence, and your professionalism. They also will be taking note of your strengths and your areas for improvement and contributing towards your improvement plan. Your supervisor will also be signing off on your internship hours log, where you'll be expected to document 775 clock hours of internship. These evaluation forms are found both in the assignment section of the course in the Human Services Information Center, and I also will be sending them to you and your supervisor. It's a good idea to take a look at those evaluation tools early on and share the tools with your supervisor now. Remind them about completing it. It's good to know what's on those forms so you know how you're going to be evaluated. So just to summarize, I just want to reiterate just how important meeting with your supervisor and being prepared for those meetings and making the most of those meetings is really going to help you to have a quality internship experience.